Wassail, beautiful Aries. Wassail, beautiful Aries. Wassail, Aries. So we're doing Sedna. Because of all the Dead Sea animals. We're on the 5th one now. Anyway, Sedna's here with the Dead Sea mammals. We're looking at how Sedna has this really long orbit of 11,408 years. We've been going through each sign and showing how this long elliptical orbit means that when Sedna was in Scorpio, it was 1,559 years. And as it's been moving through each sign, it's been quickening. So Aries, it arrived in Aries in 1867 and was there for about 100 years until 1968. So then it changed to Taurus. So you were covering quite an important period of modern history, and we're just going to go with the cards, and we're going to ask the cards, you know, what kind of message, what was maybe Sedna doing back then in Aries? Is it unfinished business that's being carried over from that time period towards people? We're just exploring Sedna with Aries, the relationship between Sedna and Aries at the moment. What does she want to share with you? I have no idea. I'm not taking that one that's turned over in the deck. Sedna. Sedna, Sedna in Aries. Well, they've come out upside down, but that's not the point of them. I'm just merely referencing it because I sense there's some kind of hesitancy, but that's not necessary. So we're looking at Etburston 55. So that's burst out, outburst, but that sounds like a temper tantrum. And it's also to free yourself. And then Wacken 64, this is a watcher or an animal totem. There's something in this energy of Wacken that talks about the cosmic sloth, this interdimensional being. There's something here about the foundation of doors. It's interesting because 1867 was Earth Epoch. There's something here about the value of doors. The value of doors and bursting free from, I think, this energy. It's almost something was set up with this cosmic sloth. Now, the notion behind the cosmic sloth is you have a personal Yggdrasil tree, Aries, but you also have a personal cosmic Yggdrasil tree that's linked to all of your future lives and past lives, but it's focusing on the movement forwards, turning something around, moving into a new frequency. So I feel like these valued doors were begun then. So we're looking at some kind of fairly recent ancestral coding, not very many generations back, Aries. I mean, there's a healing. I've got this energy of healing. There's a real sense of sharp joys within this healing. Is that how I want to talk about it? There's almost a sort of an old shadow that's being burnt away, is being broken free from. There's a movement. There is a movement. There's some kind of shift. And I don't just mean how we always go, all things are shifting. I mean you physically shifting. These have been very physical readings, this series so far, on the whole. Or I've been sensing that, even if I haven't necessarily expressed it. It's less sort of spiritual. It is spiritual, but more physical. Like a healing is needed in the physical. There's something in the Wacken card as well about remembering, and that's, I think, the point of it, remembering who you have been, what you have been, but the what you have been, like you may have been a tree or a bird or whatever it was, they could also be energies that you will be yet but have been, all that time, soupy stuff, but there's something that spans both sides of the now moment. And we have candle. So this again is 2 locks to 1 door. Keys, the value of keys, the value of doors, the value of... There's something about the value of being the door. Almost... If you kind of consider that you can prune your Yggdrasil tree, you can change your Yggdrasil tree, you can transform. There's something here within this Sedna energy which is about the space in which you build your own door. But you as the door, because you're making it from wood that belongs to your cosmic Yggdrasil tree. You have to become a door, and then you have to let the locks open. So, Aries as a door. Why are we talking about Aries as a door? So, I have got one here. Mend. And then we've got Esk. Mend your mind. I mean, it is that simple. It's a shift in the mind. It's a shift in your psychological composition. There's something about a slumbering that's been going on for about 150 years in terms of something to do with this door. And there's something about the door is shut and it requires 2 keys. But there's something about you might even have the keys, but you haven't become the door. You're waiting for something to step through. You've got to become it. You've got to embody the door to your now and your future now. So Sedna, what were you doing? Sedna, what were you doing when you were in Aries, bridging that very difficult period in Earth history? What were you doing? Fin de siècle and then war. What were you doing? Sedna, what were you doing? Oh, look at this interesting combination. Gununga Gappa Leafshade. There's something very physical world, ethereal world here. So again, I'm being drawn to the physical world, but there's something within this that's the relationship and how you draw strength to your character, your psychology, your philosophy. How do you draw that strength to create a new cradling comfort that's created by you. How do you cradle yourself now? You have to somehow create a cradling moment, and it is about time. This card is becoming more and more, for the moment, about an involvement in time, like an energy that's sitting there. It's like I said, be the door, be the leaf shade. Somehow you are the building blocks that transform how you're living your life. I'm just reviewing because there's something in here. You can see this. So it's your current psychology, state of mind that is still needing mending, that is still trapped because it hasn't become the door. When you become the door, I feel like you have the keys. I mean, you know, a needle in itself will pick a lock because you're mending something, but it won't pick a lock if you're not mending something psychologically. There is a renewal. I want to say that this vague leaf shade that was laid down by Sedna is just like a kind of, like a shimmering dust. It's like it's not the fullness, it's merely like a lit outline of form. And that lit scaffolding of form is waiting for you, Aries, to transform psychologically and mend some kind of, there's a rigidity, no, not a rigidity, there's a willfulness, there's a desire within you to deny yourself the option to be the door, made from ash, your own personal Yggdrasil tree. I don't mean it has to be made from ash. I just mean that we were talking about being the door. The personal Yggdrasil tree that you need to use is here. But you need, by making yourself a door, creating that image in your head, meditating on it if that's how you do things, drawing it if that's how you do things, journaling about it. But you somehow, you mend when you, well, not when you mend, you will mend when you set about mending your personal Yggdrasil tree. It's got such renewable energy within it. So Aries, so I don't usually take cards that turn, and I took that without thinking, so I will have to keep it. So it began with the card that I took, Ophalagu, mantle, cloak, new frequency, an energy where you resonate in a far larger, greater truth within your own emotions. So that's 6-3, and then we have 4-6, wasp. There's something about this adjustment, this ability, that's really interesting. The way I'm just laying these cards out, there's a hole in the middle, and I might have to put a card in there. When you mirror your truth better, psychologically, when you break free from, I do sense old thought patterns that just mess with your head slightly. Totally. And that's also being transformed. So this was energy, this sap, this new impassioned frequency is about a renewal over tiredness, exhaustion, feeling sapped. And then you see, feeling sapped. Feeling caught, feeling rigid in ease. There is this sense, healing, fixing yourself is the most beautiful notion, but there is a resistance within you to it because you worry exactly who you will become with this new balanced energy. There is a fear aspect, and yet so much of the frequencies is about the growing power of Aries in the signature of the year. So it's really a time for you to blossom and bloom and prepare, but there is a resistance. I'm still getting this, and it feels really weird because you're Aries, you charge at things. So what is it about this embracing frequency of Sedna that you're resistant to? Sedna was in Aries when she was discovered, I believe. No. She was in Taurus. Sorry about that, I've had that in my head for days. Health, restoration. This is about coming into your truth, being balanced physically and psychologically. So it's there, it's on offer, it's available to you. Sedna set all that up for you, but you've got to let go of some kind of willful resistance. Well, Aries, I would say explore, build your own leaf shade. Be the door, become your own door, use your personal Yggdrasil magic, as I say, whether it be meditation, journaling, drawing, writing, and build yourself into the door that has the keys, that's open, that's available to be transformed. You've got to make the decision to move towards this healing. And it is a healing, it's a full-on healing, but you have a fear. You have a fear of being healed. Is it a fear of being grown up? I don't know, it's interesting. Anyway, Aries, wassail, 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 wassail.